On today's episode, Ghislaine Maxwell gets sentenced, Dutch farmers in revolt, and Disney goes woke and goes broke. Let's get into it. G'day guys, thanks for joining me here on Crossing the Line on our 7th episode, and let's get straight into it. Today, leaked video from a new Disney show features trans flag and a robot that needs help with feminine hygiene products. Now, if you've ever seen the Disney animated movie Big Hero 6, it has a robot in it, this one here, where he's generally like a medical robot there to help people, things like that. Now, good movie, good kids movie, great for kids. They continue that on with a Disney TV show aimed at younger children, up to down to the age of 2 years old. Now, something wrong with that inherently. Robots are fine, but they've just had this clip from an episode leaked. Now, it's a bit disturbing in this episode where not much is known around it, but the robot goes to a shopping centre to go and find some feminine hygiene products, tampons, pads, that sort of thing for someone. Runs into a bit of an issue, as I'm sure most people have, trying to figure out which product you need to buy for your partner or whoever. But I don't think that's really needed for young children anyway, especially prepubescent ones. I mean, it's a natural bodily function, so whatever. But the issue with this, they're pushing their trans and LGBTQ issues again. Now, there's a tweet here by Christopher F. Ruffo. Exclusive, I've obtained a leaked video from Disney's upcoming show Baymax, which promotes the transgender flag and the idea that men can have periods to children as young as 2 years old. It's all a part of Disney's plan to re-engineer the discourse around kids and sexuality. Now, that's completely true. They've decided that they're going to be promoting LGBTQ 2+ unicorn gender, whatever the hell they want to go with it today. But there's nothing wrong with that. But when you start putting shit like that, men can have periods too, and shit like that into kids, like especially young kids, like teenage kids, fine, go for it, whatever. They kind of understand if they have access to the internet. I'm sure they're well aware. But this is for young kids. This is for quite young kids. I don't know about you, but we'll just watch the leaked clip here.
Excuse me, which of these products would you recommend?
Oh, well, these are the tampons I usually use.
Thank you.
I prefer pads. They're more comfortable for me.
Thank you.
I always get the ones with wick.
Thank you.
Get them scented and bleach-free if you can.
Thank you. Yo, my daughter loves these. Thank you.
These might be easier if it's her first period. These are really environmentally friendly.
Now, I don't know if you picked up on that, but that gentleman there,
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
that character there, the shirt it's wearing is a trans flag. That's a flag they've chosen to represent trans people. What the fuck's the point of that? Like, you're just confusing children at this point. Like, I'm glad this was leaked. I mean, someone at Disney has their head screwed on right. Now, if they're leaking shit, that means they've gone and seen it and they're going, what the fuck? I don't know about you, but LGBTQ agenda that they keep pushing on children. Like, kids aren't thinking about sexuality when they're, before they hit their puberty stage. Definitely not thinking about whether they want to be a boy or a girl. Like, to the point where they go and get surgery. If they think they're gonna need to be training kids up to be thinking about periods and trans men having periods, trans girl, I don't know what the fuck it's supposed to be, but trans people having periods, why are you injecting that into kids' TV shows? You're fucking grooming them. That's what you are. Like, Disney is grooming children at this point. Now, we'll have a look at the story here, but they've definitely been slapped around a bit at the moment. Their Buzz Lightyear movie's just flopped. They're getting backlash. The government's actually taking away some of Disney's freedoms. Now, we'll get into the story here. The leaked video from Disney show Baymax, based around the lovable robot that first appeared in 2014 animated feature Big Hero 6, shows the titular character approaching women in a store asking for help with feminine hygiene products. The brief video clip that was obtained by posted by writer, filmmaker and activist Christopher Ruffo, who also recently attained the shared video from internal Disney corporate calls, revealing the company's dedication to creating content even for young consumers that highlighted and normalized radical gender ideology. Exclusive, Christopher writes, I've obtained leaked video from Disney's upcoming show, Baymax, which promotes the transgender flag and ideas that men can have periods, to children as young as 2 years old, Ruffo tweeted. It's all part of Disney's plan to re-engineer the discourse around kids and sexuality. In the clip, Baymax stood in the feminine hygiene aisle of the store and stared at the shelf in front of him around. After a moment, turned to the woman next to him, asked for her recommendation on a good product. She first responded with surprise and then immediately did her best to assist him, and a crowd of others quickly joined in with their suggestions as well. Now, the one I was worried about was the vegan one that pops up at the end there. Even all the other people seemed a bit taken back by it. Like,
This might be easier if it's our first period. These are really environmentally friendly.
no one likes you. But I don't get why they need to keep... Look, it's obviously supposed to be a dude wearing a trans flag, buying pads and tampons. Now, why do kids need to learn about that? I don't fucking know. I don't think they do. And I think this is going to come back to bite Disney in the ass tenfold. I don't think this leaked clip will actually be in the end product now, which, or they could put it in there and, sink their own fucking boat. But it just goes to show you that they think that they know best for your children and that what they should be learning, instead of just giving them, benign kids content that they can watch with no political agenda, no sexual agenda, no agenda at all. Just want to give you, content to consume. They want to start injecting shit like this into it. Now, they face backlash and protests over saying that they're coming out and going to be actively promoting LGBTQ plus, have it in their agenda with every movie, show, and whatever they make. Now, this is a bit of an old story from The Guardian. The company's tone-deaf mishandling of Florida's Don't Say Gay bill has revealed a long gestating conflict. Now, the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida was a load of shit. Nowhere in that it said don't say gay. It just said that you were not allowed to teach children in a certain age gap about your sexuality or anything like that. You're not, it's, as a teacher, you shouldn't be telling your kids anything about your personal life. Like I didn't know my fucking teachers were gay. I had sports teachers that now I know were definitely gay, but they didn't go around promoting it when they're at school, which is, no one really cares if they're gay. But you don't want to hear about, people's sexual preferences. It's like, you go up to your sports teacher and go, oh, hi, miss, what do you like? Oh, well, I like getting fisted by a big rubber dildo from behind. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? No one gives a shit about your sexual fucking preferences. It's getting to the point where people are going to have to be walking around with their Pornhub fucking search history on their fucking collar. Like, oh, you're a dom, cool. Oh, you're into tentacle hentai porn. Fascinating. No one gives a fuck. Keep it to yourself. And don't go flaunting it and telling it to kids. Like, adults is fine. Like, you want to continue and talk to your mates about what you're into. Go for gold. If they want to hear it, whatever. Don't go putting it on other people's children. You shouldn't be putting it on your own fucking kids, let alone other people's kids. Now, Disney's new movie that came out the other day, Lightyear, about Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story, it's flopped in cinemas, and apparently they think it's due to COVID and all sorts of other things. They just keep making up excuses, but I think it's a little bit of the go woke, go broke issue. They apparently had a scene where these two lesbian characters kissed. They've even got a child somehow. Wonder how that happened. Was it just did it just pop out of one of them, did it?
Oh God!
I'll probably still watch this movie. Looks entertaining, but I don't understand why they've just got to keep promoting it so much. Like, if that was just in the movie without a big fucking hubbubaloo around it, no one would care. Like, I think it only goes for like a second. It's just literally a kiss scene. No one really cared. But when you sit there saying that we're going to be forcing this upon you and your children, that's when people might kick up a stink about it, especially fucking Americans. They've got a massive Christian demographic over in the US that really doesn't want to see any of that shit at all. You know, a lot of people don't care about it. No one really gives a fuck in Australia. You can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and sleep with who you want to sleep with. But don't go waving it around like a fucking pride flag. It gets really annoying. Yeah, I'm sure there's gay people out there that do not want to know about straight people's sexual preferences. Like, we don't come up to you and go, oh, I really like ploughing my fucking wife from behind, or in missionary. You know, no one cares. They don't care. Why the fuck should we? You get a whole month to promote it and act like, fucking child predators in the streets. You see the videos of people twerking in front of children wearing a fucking Bugs Bunny mask, naked old men doing it. What the fuck is wrong with you? Those people should be fucking shot. People should be arrested. Fucking grooming children. And what are the parents doing bringing kids to those shows? Like, to a pride march. If you want to have a pride march, go and have a pride march. But don't be bringing kids to it. Don't be fucking waving your dick around in front of children. I mean, you do that any other day in a park, you're going to get arrested. Why is it any different because you're gay? How's that make it right? It doesn't. That's disgusting. Disney's Lightyear flops an opening weekend that saw it fail to topple the Jurassic Park at the box office after controversy over the lesbian kiss. Decision to axe conservative star Tim Allen as the voice of Buzz. Now, Tim Allen, he's came out as a Trump supporter a couple of years ago, which immediately saw him get attacked by the left and Hollywood. And he goes on to say that, you can't stick your neck out, you can't say your opinion if you're right wing or even slightly just not a psychotic left person. Disney's animated movie Lightyear flopped its first weekend in theaters with the new Toy Story spin-off filming $51.7 earning $51.7 million in North America. Not only did the movie open lower than expected, but also failed to conquer Jurassic World domination, which, you know, it's a Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World movie. It's going to be... I don't think it'd be winning that anyway, would it? You know, which held the first place spot with 58.7 in the second weekend. Expectations were high for Lightyear, an origin story about the movie that inspired the Space Ranger action figure from the Toy Story movies, but with some analysts pegging the movie at 70 million, at 70 million North of American debut, but it didn't come close to that figure. Now, they can't air that kind of shit in the Middle East. They can't air that kind of shit in China. I'd say Russia as well. I don't know whether they'd take the scene out or not, or they just don't air it there so they don't make money. I'd say they'd take the pay packet from China and Muslim countries and just take that scene out. The disappointing start came after the controversy over Disney's decision to include a brief kiss between a lesbian couple in the movie and to replace the conservative star Tim Allen with Chris Evans. It's Chris Evans that did it. Like, why? Fucking use Tim Allen. Tim Allen's fantastic. He is Buzz Lightyear. We all grew up with fucking Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. Lightyear opened in 4,255 locations domestically and in 43 markets overseas, but 14 Muslim majority nations banned the movie from playing in their cinemas because Disney included a lesbian kiss. Now, is anyone fucking surprised? No, no one's fucking surprised. Jesus. United Arab Emirates, a Muslim-led nation that criminalises homosexuality, became the first nation to ban the movie in cinemas in response to the same-sex scene. Malaysia has also blacklisted the movie. The country's film censor said it was Disney's decision to axe Lightyear from the nation's theatres after refusing to cut out scenes that promote homosexuality. Well, that's interesting that they decide not to cut it out and take the payday. At least they're, you know, standing up for their brainwashing agenda. Malaysia's film censorship board said it approved the movie with parental guidance for those under 13 on the condition that the scenes and dialogues found in certain elements promoting LGBT lifestyle that violated guidelines were cut and muted. But Disney apparently did not agree to the conditions and decided instead to cancel the screening. The board said that adding it would not compromise on any LGBTQ scenes. The board statement did not specify which violated censorship guidelines, but the $200 million film includes a lesbian Space Ranger character. It sounds like someone's fucking Pornhub search history, lesbian Space Ranger.
Full colors.
Alicia, voiced by actress Uzo Abdullah, and her partner starting a family together and greeting each other with a kiss on the lips. The scene that has originally been cut from the film by Disney earlier this year, it was reinstated in March after Pixar staffers complained about the censorship in an open letter obtained by Variety. The letter criticised the company's CEO, Bob Chapek, on his handling the issue, accusing him of censor gay affection. Now, I'm surprised they didn't make Buzz Lightyear gay. I mean, his name's Buzz Lightyear. Sounds like a vibrator. Note, the further criticised his handling of Florida's controversial Don't Say Gay bill. It's not fucking Don't Say Gay bill. They keep promoting that fucking woke, fake bullshit. It's going to cost them... How long can they keep making movies, spend $200 million on a fucking animated movie where they're not going to make their money back? And if they do, it's not going to be enough to, you know, move it on to the next movie. A total of 14 countries, Malaysia, the UAE, Indonesia, Lebanon, Jordan, Bahrain, Egypt, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Palestine, Syria and Iraq have barred citizens from seeing the film due to the kiss between the same-sex couple. You think it'd be the American hero kind of thing that places like, I don't know, Syria and Iraq and Palestine would ban it for, but no, they're really that scared of lesbians, but whatever. Disney also faced criticism over the Lightyear after it placed Tim Allen, age 69, with Marvel superhero Chris Evans as the voice of Buzz Lightyear. Chris Evans just seems to be a bit of a fucking sellout. Like, I'm not really a fan of the Marvel crap anymore. It was okay when there was like a handful of them, but now they just, it's like, it's the same with Fast and Furious. First two were okay. Third one, well, it happened. And now there's, what, fucking 7? The Marvel movies can't keep up with them. I think the last one I saw was the first one with Thanos, and just couldn't, I don't even think I finished watching it. It's just too much CGI, too much bullshit, and it's just repetitive. Like, make something new for once. Like, new Jurassic Park movie, yeah, Jurassic Park's cool. They don't come out, you know, like, they don't have 3 of them come out a year, so it's okay, but like, fucking make something new. Jesus. There's a growing concern among that many his endorsement of the former President Donald Trump in attendance with his inauguration was the root cause. Now, if you can't go to a president's inauguration and you know, are a major actor like him, that just shows you how fucking deadly it is in Hollywood. Like, a lot of those stars could think that you know, putting LGBT shit into movies and that, and just, you know, like, promoting it so heavily shouldn't be done, but they'll never fucking speak up because they'd rather keep their paycheck. Which is, you know, fair enough. You see what the media and people do to anyone that sticks their head above the ground. They fucking soon get it cut off. Good old Tim Allen though, like, Tim Allen appeared to have understood the position he was in, admitting he had a huge target on his back in Hollywood due to his right-wing politics. Asked about attending Trump's inauguration by Jimmy Kimmel in 2017, he said, "You get beat up if you don't believe what everyone believes." Exactly. You get fucking death threats. People send bombs to your fucking house. It's like the 30s Germany. I don't know what happened. If you're not part of the group, you know what we believe is right, I go. Well, I might have a problem with that. I'm a comedian. I like going on both sides, he added. He added, I literally don't preach anything. What I've done is just not joined into, as I call it, the we culture. I'm not telling anybody else how to live. I don't like that. Disney and Pixar have denied Allen lost his movie role in Toy Story and sitcom Last Man Standing due to his politics, despite some reports. Of course it fucking was. It wouldn't be anything else. It's, you know, like, you don't fucking toe your line with them. They throw you off, throw you overboard. Look what they did to, you know, fucking anyone that sticks their head above the ground. Anyone. Ticket sales for movies in the US theaters, Jurassic World's dominating, Lightyear below that. Maverick. Top Gun Maverick has to be making more money than that. That was probably one of the best movies that's come out this year. It's a Bob Burger movie. Bob's Burgers made a movie. I didn't know that. I'm going to have a fucking look at that.
We're all gonna die because of you!
And see, look, more Marvel bullshit. Doctor Strange Multiverse, 4.2 million. Fuck. That's really bad. It's really, really bad. Just stop making fucking Marvel movies for 12 months, for fuck's sakes. It won't be the last time they do it. They'll probably pump out a couple more left-wing movies, or at least some LGBTQ-leaning movies before they take the hint that people don't want to keep seeing that shit. Like, there's nothing wrong with gay people appearing in movies. I think, yeah, it's fine, but just, you don't have to go and, you know, reinvent, just make a gay character from scratch. Like, sure, those characters there, they were made from scratch. I don't see it being a big deal and having a kiss scene in it, but when Disney comes out and says that they're going to be forcing it on people, whether they like it or not, and if you don't like it, don't watch their content, you're not catering to everyone. You're catering to the whingers and the complainers on Twitter, all 42 of them. I mean, this goes to show it. Like, if you're playing this for fucking kids, like young kids, there's a trans man buying tampons in a kid show. That's too far. Like, what are you trying to do? You're grooming kids. And if you don't think they're grooming kids, I think you really need to look at the media that your kids are watching. Fucking trans man wearing a trans flag, giving a robot tampons in a kids' TV show. The world's fucked up. Alright, we'll move on. Dutch farmers are protesting over emissions. Now, in the Netherlands, lawmakers have voted on proposals to slash emissions and of damaging pollutants. Nitrogen emissions, to be exact. The Hague, Netherlands. Farmers protest around the Netherlands as lawmakers voted Tuesday on proposals to slash emissions of damaging pollutants, a plan that will likely force farmers to cut their livestock herds or stop work altogether. Now, nothing wrong with cutting emissions. We need to do it. But when you start forcing it onto people at this extent, it becomes untenable. You're asking dairy farmers and beef farmers in Netherlands to cut their nitrogen emissions by 70%. Do you know how they do that? If they have 100 cows, they have to get rid of 70 of them. How's that going to fucking work? It's not. They'll get rid of them. They won't make any money. They won't be able to feed their kids, and they won't be able to feed their kids because there's no fucking food. If you get rid of 50 to 70 and 90% in some regions, 90% of emissions, the way that they have to do it is they have to get rid of the cattle. They can't afford to put in clean nitrogen filters into their sheds. They can't afford to change their feed. They can't afford to fucking do it because there's a massive grain shortage at the moment anyway in Europe. And you're pinning it all on these fucking farmers. Now, they're not taking it. They're going around. They are fucking throwing poo at politicians. They are blocking streets. They are... Look at them. There's 40,000 of them protesting at the moment. Clashing with police, blocking roads. They're not fucking having it. They are getting crushed by the government at the moment with these new laws that they're trying to bring in. You can't. It's not sustainable. You're talking about building a sustainable, ecosystem and sustainable globe, but how is it sustainable when you're making farmers get rid of 70 to 90% of their cattle, even 50%? Now, in the Netherlands, they don't have as much land mass here as like we do in Australia. So their cattle is located in smaller farms and that, which means that they don't have as much grazing land, which means they have to use nitrogen-rich foods to feed them so they can keep producing milk and whatever else they're using with beef or whatever. The government says emissions of nitrogen oxide and ammonia which livestock produce must be drastically reduced close to nature areas that are part of a network of protected habitats. See, that's close to nature areas. You know who lives out in the nature areas? Fucking farmers. All the pollutants coming from the city and massive industrial areas aren't getting attacked. It's just the farming and the poor people, the poor people that feed the rich people. How do you think that's going to fucking work? Jesus Christ. Drastically close to nature areas, part of the network of protected habitats for endangered plants, wildlife, and stretching across the 27-nation European Union. As tractors gathered outside the Parliament building, Prime Minister Mark Rutte said farmers have the right to protest but not break the law. Freedom of speech is the right to demonstrate, a vital part of the democratic society. I will always defend them, Rutte said, but it is not acceptable to create dangerous situations. It is not acceptable to intimidate officials. We will never accept that. The farmers aren't going to accept this bullshit either, dude. The ruling coalition wants to cut emissions and pollutants, predominantly nitrogen oxide and ammonia, by 50% nationwide by 2030. Ministers call the proposal unavoidable transition that aims to improve air, land, and water quality. They warn that farmers will have to adapt or face the prospect of shuttering their businesses. The honest message is that not all farmers can continue their business, and those who do will likely have to farm differently, the government said in a statement this month as it unveiled emission reduction targets. So somewhere in the European Union, they've had a meeting and they've said, all right, we need you guys, poor farmers, to cut your nitrogen emissions so we don't have to. Now, I don't think they fucking think about it too far ahead. If they're not producing food, milk, meat, you're not getting it. I suppose that the rich will still get it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them if a steak costs $25. They can fucking afford it. Or if a litre of milk costs $10, they can fucking afford it. Now, attacking the poor people, attacking these farmers, it's not going to end well for them. They're blocking roads already. I've seen them shooting like tanks of cow shit at police, burning bays of hail in the middle of highways and things like that. They're not going to take your shit. They've fucking already had enough. Livestock produce ammonia in their urine and feces. The government in the past has called on farmers to use feed for their animals that contains less protein as a way to reduce ammonia emissions. Now, if you're providing less protein to your animal, you're not going to be getting that protein back out. Protein in, protein out. So they're going to be having to feed them more food, which is going to cost them a lot of money. And I can guarantee you that fucking price of feed's gone up drastically there at the moment. The problem is compounded in the Netherlands, which is known for its intensive farming practices with large numbers of livestock kept on small areas of land. There's not only farmers being targeted in the past, the government has also cut the national maximum speed limit on highways from 130 kilometres per hour to 80 miles per hour to 100 kilometres during the day as a way of reducing nitrogen oxide created by vehicle engines. I don't even think that would work, would it? Try doing that in Australia. We can only go 110 in most places on highways, unless you're out in the Northern Territory. I think it's like 130 or something like that on some of the. But those roads aren't even sealed; they're just dirt roads. You'd never get anywhere. You fucking never get anywhere if you dropped it down to 80. Because that's what they do here. They're dropping it by 30 k's. They drop it down to 80 or 70 or something like that. It's ridiculous. Christ, that's when people in Australia would stand up and fucking do something. When you cut the fucking road speeds down by 30 k's. Jesus Christ, people would lose their shit. Truckies especially. They might actually pull their finger out of their ass and do something. The government has been forced to take action after a series of court rulings that blocked infrastructure and construction projects because of fears they would cause emissions that breach environmental rules. Laws made up by other people who don't live there, laws that no one who lives in the Netherlands has fucking voted for. I wonder why Brexit happened, eh? Is giving provincial authorities a year to work out ways to meet the emission reduction target. And what are you going to do if they don't? What is the EU going to do if they don't meet emission targets? What are you going to fucking do? You're going to drive some troops in there and fucking shut down the farms? Notice they're not attacking big industrial centres. They're not attacking people, who live in cities or, places that put heaps more fucking pollutants into the atmosphere. They're attacking the poor people. Again.
Will you shut up? Now we see the violence inherent in the system. Shut up! Oh, come and see the violence inherent in the system! Help! Help! I'm being repressed! Bloody peasant! Oh!
Because it's the poor people that are going to suffer. Some 40,000 farmers gathered last week in central Netherlands agricultural heartland to protest the government's plans. Many arrived by tractor, snarling traffic. Who decided to use that fucking word? Blocking traffic around the country. On Monday, and into Tuesday, farmers again took their protests to the crowded highways, driving slowly along the roads, stopping altogether. Some have dumped hay bales on the roads, and small groups demonstrated at towns and city halls. In some cases, starting bonfires outside the buildings. Fucking good on them. Some farmers have set hay bales ablaze Tuesday along highways, whilst others gathered in towns and cities, including Hague. Fucking good on them. Fucking good on them. It's good to see when people actually fucking stand up for their rights. Because what's the alternative? All these people here in this. Let me have a look, right? Right, that's not everyone. Look at all the fucking track. That's a lot of fucking people just in that photo, right? Every one of them are going to be out of a job. Where are you going to be getting your milk and fucking beef from? They don't think ahead. That they don't care that if you can't afford to eat and can't afford to, keep your family alive, so you die off, or you turn into a dependent on the government, or is it just some big conspiracy to make people do that? I wonder. If it was only happening in the Netherlands, it might not be such a big conspiracy, but when it's happening all over the world at the same time, where they're attacking people's freedoms and they're attacking people's way to make money and produce food, which is causing massive inflation, massive fucking price hikes on everything, and they're making it worse. Every government around the world is putting laws and rules into place to make it worse. We're doing it here in Australia. They're definitely doing it in the US. And then whilst they do that, they all sit there and say, oh, it's all fucking Putin's fault. It's all Russia's fault. It's not. It's your local governments. It's your fucking state governments, your federal governments. All around the world, they keep making things worse. And then the fucking people who aren't awake yet just refuse to believe it. And they go, oh, well, it's just because there's a war in Russia, or it's just because of COVID. No. It's because of the people you fucking vote in and the shit you let them get away with. Speaking of letting people get away with shit, Ghislaine Maxwell sentenced to 20 years in prison for sex trafficking against no one. Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced on Tuesday to 20 years in prison in her New York sex trafficking case for procuring teen girls for Jeffrey Epstein for him to abuse. Maxwell, 60, has maintained her innocence. Epstein, a convicted child sex offender and financier whose elite associates once included Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Was captured by federal authorities in July 2019 on sex trafficking counts. He killed himself. No, he didn't, did he? He didn't, did he? He was suicided in a New York City federal jail just over 1 month after his arrest. Yeah. Now she's on suicide watch. Ghislaine's on suicide watch because, but they've come out and said that she's on suicide watch, but she's not suicidal. If her cameras fuck up in her cell and her guards fall asleep too, I think it'll just be the magical trifecta, Maxwell's attorneys have pushed for leniency in sentencing, saying that she should receive well below the 20 years recommended by federal probation officials. Prosecutors pushed for a sentence to be 30 to 55 years in prison. Maxwell, a former British socialite, was convicted on 29th of December of 6 charges he faced. The jury came to the decision after 40 hours of deliberation spanning 6 days. Now, great, she's been sentenced to 20 years. It's definitely not enough. She should have been, for what she was doing, probably just tied to a post and burnt alive or something like that. But, definitely should have just been serving life. I mean, if she's, how old is it? So she's 60, 20 years is probably going to be life, especially in prison. I don't think she'd be treated too well, even just being popular, having a name like that. People probably fucking sort her out right quick. I mean, I'm sure Hillary will. But when R. Kelly gets 30 years in prison for trafficking women and girls, and Ghislaine Maxwell only gets 20, something fucking sus going on. Like R. Kelly should have been same fucking thing, tied to a post, covered in diesel. But 30 years in prison for him, and he's another rich star, you know, plenty of money, famous as fuck, and gets 30 years. She's the same kind of thing, gets 20. Wonder why? I doubt she will be seeing out her 20 years. But it just goes to show you that she can be convicted for all those sex trafficking charges against no one. I mean, what's her client list? Did you see this on the news? No. You didn't? No, it was all about fucking Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and all about, you know, it's Trump's fault that the world's going to shit, and what else? Roe v. Wade. Has everyone been distracted by all that bullshit? Or, you know, are people like this, scum of the earth, getting away with shit, and all the people she's protecting getting away with it? Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, and this is from The Guardian. So if they're saying it was Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton, you know, they're a little bit fucking based. In addition to sex trafficking, Maxwell was convinced of conspiracy to entice individuals under the age of 17 to travel to interstate commerce with intent to engage in illegal sexual activity, conspiracy to transport individuals under the age of 17 to travel interstate commerce with intent to engage in illegal sexual activity, transportation, you know, just sex trafficking kids for rich billionaires and millionaires, and gets away with it without, well, she didn't get away with it, but she get 20 years, but she gets, no one else gets charged. How does that fucking happen? Epstein magically gets suicided in prison, but no one's questioning anything. Who was it she was supplying these kids to? How can she be charged with sex trafficking when she's not being charged with sex trafficking to people? She just moved them from one place to another, not to anyone in particular. Jesus Christ, people are fucking dumb. It just goes to show you they keep everyone distracted with the shit show that is going on at the moment with Roe v. Wade, fucking Albo, COVID, you name it. And then didn't even really hear about R. Kelly.
I want to pee on you. Yes, I do.
You know, it wasn't splashed all over the news like shootings in the US do. But you think Ghislaine Maxwell would be all over the news more than Amber Heard's case? Apparently not. Well, we shall leave it at that for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Have a bit of an argument in the comments. It helps with the algorithm. And I will see you guys next time. Cheers.